So if you love McDonald's, we have a major problem right now. Tons of reports are coming in that people are ordering stuff through the mobile app and finding out later that they're victims of fraud. I'm talking about hundreds of dollars of extra products ordered under their bank card that they never allowed. And this is not just like an isolated incident. This is happening all around Canada. The big thing though is that we know it's coming from somewhere in Quebec. That seems to be the source of the fraud. Now, I just had a great conversation with Patrick O'Rourke, the managing editor for MobileSyrup, and he got charged $2,000 of McDonald's food. Here's what he has to say. So right now I have Patrick O'Rourke from MobileSyrup on the line. He was hit with a $2,000 McDonald's bill after he ordered what? A couple McNuggets? What happened exactly?
So I ordered a single coffee. That's all that I ordered. The order didn't go through. I had to stand in line like a regular person, buy it with just my debit card. But basically after I did that 2 weeks later, I got a number of transactions showed up in my Gmail. I think all at once 90 showed up, and then there was other ones earlier in the week, and they're all from McDonald's locations in Montreal that I did not make the purchases at.
So the big question is like, how are the purchases being made in Montreal when you had made the purchase for the McDonald's item you bought in Toronto?
Yeah, so that's what I don't know yet. I'm talking to security experts to try to figure it out. It could be one of two things. It could be my password that I used for my McDonald's app was compromised through a different platform. It's not a password that I use frequently, but odds are I may have used it for something else in the past. So that's one possibility. There also could be some kind of vulnerability in the McDonald's app, and that's somewhat what I'm leaning towards because it's not just me. This isn't an isolated incident. Like Vice has covered this, CTV's covered this. We've had a bunch of people reach out to MobileSyrup about this problem, them experiencing pretty much the exact same thing that I encountered. Somebody hijacking their account or hijacking their banking information through the account and then making fraudulent transactions all in Montreal through the McDonald's app.
So with more people coming forward about it, and Canada being obviously a smaller source of people, have you heard anything from this happening to anyone, south of the border?
So there's been a few instances. I think 2 people reached out to me on Twitter yesterday saying that they live in the States. I don't remember specifically where, but they encountered the same issue. So I think it may be a predominantly Canadian McDonald's app thing, but it seems like there are at least some instances of it happening in the US.
And have you tried reaching out to McDonald's Canada?
So when this first happened, I reached out to McDonald's Canada, spoke to a guy that wasn't very helpful on the phone, read out all of the transactions. There's tons and tons of them, like over 100, only to be told that like, hey, we can't do anything about this. This is not a McDonald's problem. This is a fraud issue with your bank. Went to my bank, filed a fraud claim, was told that it likely won't end up in my favor because as far as the Bank of Montreal is concerned, this is a merchant issue, which I get, kind of understand that. As a consumer, I don't really care how I get my money back. I just want it back.
Right, you just want your money back.
But McDonald's wasn't particularly helpful. I mean, I wrote a story about it on MobileSyrup, reached out to, I believe, their director of Canadian communications. He sent me a pretty boilerplate style statement, similar to the statement that was sent out earlier in the month to other publications that covered this, because it has happened in the past to other people, basically saying that McDonald's app has no security flaws, and this is linked solely to poor password management.
Right. And what you said you pay with debit card afterwards, but in the app, I guess you can only register with your debit card or credit card. Or is there an option for like Apple Pay or anything?
So normally there's no option for Apple Pay as far as I know, which would be much more secure. But what the mistake that I made was when I added my card, I accidentally added my debit credit card rather than just my credit card because they look identical. The Bank of Montreal debit and credit card look the same. So that's a user error on my part, because if I didn't do that, I would have been able to just call my credit card company and be like, hey, these are fraudulent claims. I need this money back. And I would have got it instantly.
And The $2,000 worth of stuff that they ordered. What kind of McDonald's items were there? Were they Big Macs or chicken McNuggets? I need to know. I mean, a lot of people are going to be wondering this.
What I think was kind of funny, it was a wide range of things. Like the one thing that's kind of amusing is there was always a poutine being ordered, given that the orders were placed in.
Right, Jesus.
There was a lot of Oreo McFlurries, and there were a lot of Filet-O-Fishes.
Filet-O-Fish is $2,000 worth of Filet-O-Fish. Just think about that.
That's true. And they're at multiple locations across Montreal. And I guess one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is like, I have the suspicion that this is some kind of broader, larger scam, and it doesn't really involve buying just McDonald's food. Like there's something more to this that we don't know or I don't understand yet. My big thing for me with this is like, sure, my password likely was not incredibly secure. It was probably just the same thing that the average person would have as their password for something.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easy to figure out.
Yeah.
But to me, there must be something broader happening here because there's just so many people who have suffered from similar fraud issues. Nothing to the scale of what's happened to me.
Yeah.
But similar amounts.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Patrick, I want to thank you so much for like taking the time out of your busy day. Like I said, we're going to look into this ourselves and see if we can find out any more information.
Thanks for having me.
So here's the thing about this whole entire incident. We know most of the charges are coming from Quebec. We don't know exactly what's going on over there, but there's some sort of scheme that allows these people to find out certain information about people who use the mobile app. The problem is that this mobile app experience is not that secure. There's things they could do to actually make it a better experience. For one, there is no two-factor authentication. This should be a must for any mobile app. Two, there's no option to use Apple Pay, Google Pay, or Samsung Pay. These three services offer better security than just using your credit card. The ability to use Face ID or Touch ID offers another layer of security. Plus, most of these mobile paying experiences from these companies don't log your personal information. This seems to be a situation that McDonald's does not want to admit. And on top of this, this is not the first time that McDonald's has had a security issue with their software. There was reports of another situation that was eventually resolved. Here's the bottom line. Now, I hope you guys take this away from this. If you're using a mobile app, security is everything. The more we connect online, the more we have to be careful how we handle our data. Doing the few things, making sure there's a two-factor authentication or Apple Pay or Google Pay is one step further to keep yourself protected. Now, if you're in the States or anywhere else in the world, let me know if this has happened to you because I want to take this a step further and see how widespread this issue is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because if you did, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and go visit Patrick. Buy him a Filet-O-Fish. It's his favorite meal, okay? And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.